I'm Catherine Ross, and I'm here live from the NYSE with Jim Cramer. Jim, we got numbers from China last night suggesting that their growth is weakening. What are your thoughts there?
Well, look, that's really, I think, in large part because of the tariffs and companies that are pulling out. I mean, if you can make things cheaper outside of China, perhaps in Vietnam, avoid the tariff, I think that's very smart. I think there are a lot of other companies who think it's just going to get worse and that the president is going to put the tariff on the last $300 billion. China is in no way the cheapest place to make things. I think that's one of the great misunderstandings. The thing that they are best at is getting it onto a intermodal truck and send it to San Francisco or to Long Beach. So I think the Chinese are losing this fight. I think our GDP can go up now that the Fed has relented. And I think the Chinese GDP, you just look at that trajectory, and it's very damaging. We're talking about an almost 30-year low. Everyone keeps saying they play the long game, but that presumes that they stay in power.
So do you think that we're one step closer to a China-U.S. trade deal?
I think the president wants to have no trade deal going into the election if he can get China to heel. The numbers of his support in the Republican Party are rather remarkable, and a lot of it's based on the fact that there's a budding Chinese hatred in this country.
China isn't the only thing driving markets this morning. We're starting Q3 earnings season. You wrote about it this morning in your Real Money column. Based on that, you had a different opinion than everyone else, which is that you think that it's not going to be as bad.
It's a win-win. Yeah. If you have a good quarter, your stock goes higher. If you have a bad quarter, and there I use Micron and the semis, then you can say, listen, things are going to get better in the economy. Micron is very levered to GDP. And so therefore, look at that stock. It's going from 32 up to 44. So that's an example of a company that did not report necessarily a good forecast, but we now buy in. PCs are doing better. So it seems like you have a win-win. Now, Citi's down today, but I think after further review, people will come back. Citi was up. People don't understand the way what Citi's really doing. And then, you've got other companies that have been down substantially because the president was knocking them, managed care stocks. CVS, which is an Action Alert name, and United Health. And now he's trained his guns on pharmacy. So you have a lot of areas in the healthcare sector that are better than we thought, a lot of areas in technology. And then if you look at Caterpillar's, what for Action Alerts that we're up really big on, that's in large part because even though China's come down GDP, there's a belief that the Federal Reserve is going to lower rates. And if they lower rates, the one stock you really want to buy very quickly is Caterpillar.
For our viewers who may be listening to all of these experts say that earnings season is not going to be great, what's one piece of advice?
Well, I think that you should not be so quick to sell. Now, listen to the conference call. I mean, Citi, I said, look, everything was good, but you got to wait for the conference call, and that turned out to be right. PepsiCo, at 31, they report at 132, goes to 134, and it's back to 132. People sold it down to 130, 131. I think that what you have to do, if you listen to the conference call and you believe that the company has economic sensitivity or is in that sweet spot like a McDonald's or a Nike, you'll be just fine. Stay away from the bad guys like a 3M where structurally they're bad. United Technologies, until they get their deal done, has got a cap on it. But I do think that what we're going to end up is if it's bad, people are going to say the Fed will bail it out. If it's good, they're just going to buy it. Now, the market has advanced mightily into this, so that's part of the problem of JP Morgan, Citi, Goldman Sachs. As much as I like Goldman Sachs, and it's a very big position for us in Action Alerts, there's a good example of one I'd wait for.
Let's switch gears. Let's talk about Amazon, which is our real money stock of the day. They kick off their Prime Day sale today and tomorrow.
It's up. Started. Yeah. Those of us who are on Amazon every single day, I think are going to be shocked at the values. We, unfortunately, bought the Fire Stick before because I wanted to have something that made it so I could easily switch to Netflix and like to talk into it. And it's offered for, I don't know, about an 80% reduction where I bought it. So, shame on me that I didn't wait, but I had a guy coming, I had Ben coming. And I think that one of the things that you always have to recognize is that the prices that they offer are unbeatable. So once again, but remember, I did say that Amazon should be sold into Prime Day, not bought, and that's going to prove to be right. I'm going to reiterate that you must wait for the bank stocks now that they've moved up. That's a very important call for me. Please understand it. I think the drug stocks can bounce back, but not big if our president turns his Twitter guns against the drug stocks again. And CVS United Health, as I'll say on our Action Alerts call, seem very attractive today.
For those of you who missed our Friday episode, Jim did say don't buy into Prime Day now. And now I'm wondering,
people are going to sell into Prime Day.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm wondering, when is the time to buy?
Well, you wait. Maybe under 2,000. Amazon's had quite a move on Prime Day, and you have to let that be repealed along with the rest of the FANG stocks. Now, Facebook's got struggles with its own problems about Libra. I think people are misreading Libra. I'll save that for Action Alerts call. And Peter Thiel accusing Alphabet of being treasonous. I do think that none dare call treason when it comes to Alphabet.
Now, you already teased this, but for those of you who don't know, Jim has an Action Alerts Plus members-only call on Wednesday at 11:30 ET.
Getting new people, and I'm committed to it.
He loves them, and they're really educational, so you really should tune in. You can trial over on actionalertsplus.com. All right, Jim, that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Catherine Ross, and we'll see you tomorrow.